You stand 3 feet from the most famous face in history. Your shift started 6 hours ago. Your feet ache, your back is stiff. A tourist just asked you if the painting is real. For the 100th time today, you nod without smiling. This is your life now. You are a guard at the Louvre Museum in Paris, and your sole responsibility is to protect a wooden panel smaller than a coffee table that is worth over $1 billion. Day 1. You show up at 5:30 in the morning. The museum is dark and silent. The other guards barely acknowledge you. You're the rookie. You get the speech. Never touch the glass. Never turn your back to the painting. Never fall asleep. You think they're joking about that last part. They're not. Last year, a guard dozed off for 11 seconds. He was fired before lunch. The Mona Lisa has been stolen before. It disappeared in 1911. It took 2 years to recover. The museum will not let that happen again. You are assigned to room 6, the Salle des États. It's a massive hall with high ceilings and polished floors. But you're not looking at the room. You're looking at her. The painting sits behind bulletproof glass in a climate-controlled case. The glass is 2 inches thick. It can stop a hammer. It can stop a bullet. It can probably stop a small car. The frame is bolted into the wall. There are sensors everywhere. If someone breathes on the glass too hard, an alarm goes off. Your instructions are simple. Stand, watch, report. You are not a tour guide. You are not a photographer. You are a human tripwire. If someone gets too close, you step forward. If someone tries to take a flash photo, you point at the sign. If someone attempts anything stupid, you hit the red button on your belt. Within 20 seconds, a dozen armed guards will flood the room. Week 1, you realize the Mona Lisa is smaller than you imagined. It's only 30 inches tall and 21 inches wide. Tourists are always shocked. They expected something grand, something enormous. Instead, they find a modest portrait of a woman with a mysterious smile. But size doesn't matter here. This is the most visited painting on the planet. 6 million people come to see her every year. That's over 16,000 people per day. They push, they shove, they hold up tablets and phones, blocking everyone else's view. Your job is to keep them moving. No one gets to stand in front of the painting for more than a minute. There's a line. There's always a line. You start to notice patterns. The early morning visitors are serious. They study the brushstrokes. They read the plaques. By noon, the crowds shift. Families arrive. Kids run. Teenagers take selfies. By evening, everyone is exhausted. They shuffle past the painting like zombies. You stand through all of it. 8 hours. No breaks, except for lunch. Your feet scream. You dream about chairs. Month 1. You've memorized every crack in the paint. You know the exact shade of her hands. You've stared at her smile so long, it doesn't look like a smile anymore. It's just lines, just pigment on wood. But then a little girl walks up. She's maybe 7 years old. She looks at the painting and gasps. She turns to her mother and says, "She's beautiful." In that moment, you remember why this matters. But beauty makes people reckless. A man tries to climb the barrier. You step in. He argues. He paid for his ticket. He just wants a closer look. You don't argue back. You point at the exit. Security escorts him out. An hour later, a woman throws a cupcake at the glass. It splatters everywhere. She's screaming about climate change. The alarms blare. Guards swarm. She's arrested. You spend the next hour watching a technician clean frosting off bulletproof glass. This painting makes people lose their minds. Month 3, you are numb to the chaos now. You've seen marriage proposals in front of the Mona Lisa. You've seen arguments. You've seen a man faint from standing too long in the heat. The room has no windows. The air is recycled. It smells like sweat and expensive perfume. You've become a statue. Tourists don't see you anymore. You're part of the scenery, but you see everything. You see the pickpockets working the crowd. You see the influencers staging elaborate photo shoots. And then one afternoon, the lights flicker. Everyone freezes. The room goes dark for 3 seconds. Emergency lights kick in, bathing everything in dim red. Your heart pounds. This is the moment you've trained for. Your hand moves to your radio, but then the main lights come back on. False alarm. Just a power surge. The tourists laugh nervously and go back to their phones. You exhale slowly. Your supervisor's voice crackles through your earpiece. All clear. Resume normal operations. You nod to no one. Month 6. You've stopped seeing the painting entirely. Your eyes track movement now. Hands reaching too far. Bodies leaning over barriers. Backpacks swinging dangerously close to the frame. you've developed a sixth sense for trouble. You can spot a potential threat from across the room, the drunk tourist stumbling toward the velvet rope, the angry ex-boyfriend looking for a dramatic gesture, the confused elderly woman who thinks she can touch it. You intercept them all before anything happens. You are invisible until you're not. Year 1. You've worked here 365 days. You know every guard by name. You know which tourists will cause problems just by watching them enter. Americans take the most photos. Japanese visitors are the most respectful. French tourists complain about the crowds, even though they're part of the crowd. School groups are exhausting. 40 kids hyped up on sugar, barely interested in art, just here because their teacher made them come. You watch them shuffle past, glued to their phones, and wonder what Leonardo would think. But occasionally, someone gets it. A teenager stands there for 10 minutes, truly looking. An old man tears up. A couple holds hands in silence. Those moments remind you this isn't just crowd control. This is protecting something that matters. Year 2, you've been promoted. Now you supervise other guards. You train the new ones. You teach them the stance, the scan pattern, the warning signs. A woman in your training group asks why anyone would attack a painting. You tell her about the man who threw acid at it in the 50s, the woman who sprayed it with red paint in the 70s, the Russian tourist who threw a coffee mug in 2009, the climate activist with the cake. People don't attack the Mona Lisa because they hate art. They attack it because they want attention. And attacking the most famous painting in the world all guarantees headlines. Your job is to make sure those headlines never happen again. Year 5. You barely think about the painting anymore. It's just part of the room, like the walls, like the floor. You've moved on to bigger concerns, staffing schedules, budget cuts, new security protocols. You attend meetings where people argue about whether the glass needs upgrading. You write reports no one reads. The romance is gone. This is just a job now. But every so often, late in the evening when the museum is about to close, you stand alone in the room. The crowds are gone. It's just you and her. And in that silence, you remember what it felt like the first time you saw it. Before the crowds, before the chaos. Just a painting of a woman with a secret smile. Year 10. You're retiring? Your last shift is on a Tuesday. It's raining outside, so the museum is quieter than usual. You stand in your spot one final time. A young couple approaches the painting. They're holding hands. The woman whispers something to the man. He smiles. They stand there longer than most people do, really looking. You don't rush them. When they finally leave, the man turns back and nods at you, a small gesture of thanks. You nod back. Your replacement arrives. She's young, eager, nervous. You shake her hand and tell her the most important thing. It's not about the painting. It's about the people. Protect them from themselves. Keep them safe. Keep her safe. She nods like she understands, but she doesn't. Not yet. She will. You take one last look at the Mona Lisa. After 10 years, she still hasn't revealed her secret. Maybe that's the point. You turn and walk toward the exit. Your shift is over. Some things are worth protecting, even if people only see them through a phone screen.